Good morning and welcome to the Forex Daily Update, brought to you by Pepperstone on Friday the 27th of April 2018. I'm Darren Sinden and you can follow me throughout the day on Twitter by using @ds_Pepperstone. Right, let's take a look at overnight changes and price moves to be aware of. Not much movement is the honest answer. We might have expected some bigger moves perhaps given the events of yesterday. The euro for its part is clawing back some gains, up by about 0.7% against the dollar, shortly before we recorded the video. The Mexican peso is the other standout to my mind, gaining around 0.25% back against the US dollar and bucking the weekly trend, as indeed was the euro a little earlier this morning. In the world of cryptocurrencies, it's a down day for both Bitcoin and Ether. Bitcoin off by around 0.5% and Ether down by just under 1% shortly before we went live. Right then, what's on the calendar? Events that may move the markets today. Pretty packed calendar. First of all, to remind you that we have a Eurogroup meeting, the meeting of the movers and shakers and decision makers in the European Union. That's ongoing throughout the day. We've also had our second major central bank meeting of the week, and that is the Bank of Japan, who met to decide on interest rates earlier this morning. The decision coming out at just after 3 o'clock GMT, and we'll look at that in a bit more detail momentarily. Central banks are peppered throughout the calendar, and mostly in the form of speakers today. We've got the ECB's board member Mersch speaking at 5:45 GMT, so that's ongoing. And then at 6:45 GMT, the ECB board member Lautenschlager giving us the benefit of their thoughts. At 6:45 we'll have consumer price index data out of France, and that's followed at 8 a.m. by unemployment data for April out of Germany. And then board member Mersch is on their feet again at 8 a.m. with a second speech of the day. At the same time, the Swiss National Bank chairman, Mr. Jordan, will also be giving us the benefit of his experience and advice. 8:30 GMT sees the release of the important UK data for the day, gross domestic product for the first quarter 2018. So that could have an effect on sterling, obviously. At 9 o'clock, we'll have Eurozone business climate data for April. And then we jump forward to 12:30 GMT, and gross domestic product out of the US for Q1 2018 is released then, alongside personal consumption and core personal consumption data for the first quarter as well. 1400 we'll see Mark Carney, the Governor of the Bank of England, speaking, and he'll be joined 15 minutes later by his chief economist Andy Haldane. And at 1700, to round off the day, we have the influential Baker Hughes US oil rig count data. Okay, breaking news and comment then that's caught my eye overnight. First of all, Bank of Japan has kept rates and QE unchanged, but has removed the time frame from its 2% inflation target. The Monetary Policy Committee voted 8-1 in favour of no change in monetary policy. Industrial profits at Chinese companies have grown at their slowest rate for 21 months during March, continuing a downtrend from late 2017. The question is then, are there some fundamental changes going on within the Chinese economy, or are there some other external factors that are driving this reduction in profits? Meanwhile, UK consumer confidence remains subdued according to survey data from market research house GfK. It's 28th month in negative territory under this measure according to GfK. So that data is at odds with some other UK consumer confidence data, but one thing we can say about the GfK survey is it's certainly been consistent. Right, food for thought then, something to take away with you into the trading day and beyond. Well, why not think about this? US crude oil production continues to grow as rising oil prices allow the sector to reinvest in its infrastructure after years of underspend. Citigroup analysts have noted this week that US crude exports hit 8.3 million barrels per day over the prior 7 days, second only to production from Saudi Arabia. Well, the bank believes that the US could exceed Saudi supplies in 2019. And the chart opposite just shows us the growth of US crude exports over the last 15 to 20 years. Right, please take a moment to read the risk warning. Trading CFDs and foreign exchange on margin can be a risky business. If you're in any doubt about those risks or the suitability of the products for you, then please do contact your Pepperstone account representative. Thank you for your time.